So I think I did something to my sacrum in the weight room. So I'm sitting with my feet tonight flat on the floor. So if you're in the same position as me, make sure your feet are parallel, knees parallel. You can still have your sits bones slightly raised. And maybe if you need something, a little cushion underneath your feet, if you want something like that. Hands in the meditation mudra, and the shoulders are aligned with the hips. I just feel this is really important, that we're not just kind of slouching back or forward, resting into the back of the couch. If you're not well, of course, that's your option. Welcome, Susan. But I would, as much as we can, try and keep ourselves nicely aligned. It's only for 30 minutes. So just use the strength of your body to hold yourself upright in a relaxed way. So when you're nicely aligned, you can access some stillness inside a little bit more easily. So let's just imagine our spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you just imagine that somebody is above you or behind you, very gently just lengthening, pulling on that string, maybe like a puppeteer, very gently lengthening your spine. And the head is very slightly tipped forward, putting a little bit of length in the back of the neck. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. If they were open, you'd be looking at a spot, maybe about 2 inches ahead. And the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, just relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, and the back of the eyes, particularly if you're wearing corrective lenses. Just imagine you're relaxing all those muscles in the back of the eye, around the eye. Relax the nose. Do you have tension at the bridge of the nose? So just imagine relaxing in between the eyes. Relax the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw again. And now bring your awareness to the back of the head and relax the scalp, base of the skull. Relax the ears, the inner ear, the temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue. And if you have any tension in the back of the neck, just release the back of the neck and the shoulders, shoulder blades, allow them to drop down. All the while you're still just imagining you're lengthening. Your neck is nice and loose. And relax the throat, the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath. Just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow them to be there. So if you are in New York City, it's likely to be traffic of some sort, whether it's distant, emergency vehicles, people. Or wherever you are, maybe there's someone in your home, maybe you can hear your pets. Outside here we have our crickets have started. So just notice what sounds are drawing you away. And then just very gently bring your mind back to the breath and allow the sounds to fade into the distance. So you're not pushing them away or trying to stop them, just allowing them. And then just refocusing on the breath. And now, just have a look and see what's arising in the mind. And whatever that is, just allow it, knowing that it will change. Try not to criticize your thoughts or have opinions. Just notice them arising. And you can look at them like an objective observer would look at something, maybe like a scientist would look at a rock. And just allow your mind to flow those mental moments. And we've been putting ourselves on the bank of our river and just watching the river flow on by, not being swept away, nice and dry, not being entangled. And so while we're sitting on the bank and just watching it, we're free. So now let's bring to mind all those people of our life, our loved ones, our spouses and children, our besties, work colleagues, school friends, college friends. And then there's those people in our life who we don't have constructive relationships with, who we are finding difficult from one reason or another. Maybe they're just irritating. Maybe they've harmed you. And then there's those people in our life who are just complete strangers. We see them every day, maybe. Maybe we pass them in the street. But we don't know much about their life. We don't know what's going on for them. And we don't particularly care. But, it's interesting. I always find this fascinating. This friend, this enemy, and this stranger could change place at any time, according to our karma. That stranger could become, that was a person that was a stranger to you in 2019. Perhaps they're your best friend right now. So you can imagine they're all equal, these people, regardless of how we feel about them. Because they're the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to avoid suffering, and in this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So let's just bring these people to our mind, and I think we're going to do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these sentient beings, and by extension all sentient beings. So this Vajrasattva practice, it's good to remind ourselves there is no negativity that cannot be purified. We shouldn't be getting caught up in our perceived badness, but it's also a delusion. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind. And we can change our mind. It's just a little bit of work. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And you can think, maybe just bring to mind a couple of specific actions of the body and the speech. And then in general, we can just regret all, even the ones we don't remember. And the reason we're regretting is based on this logic of karma, cause and effect. So everything we experience is the fruits of our past actions. And given that we're not really interested in suffering, it would make sense, it would be logical that we pull out these seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And think, let's regret our delusions, our anger and attachment and the rest that are cause of the why we harm others, and think, I'm sick of this suffering. Then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your guru, your teacher, your spiritual mentor, however you think of them, perhaps manifesting in this Vajrasattva form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, or in this case the lotus is multicolored, and a white moon disk. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. And this is the analogy they use for our potential, our Buddha potential. Born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And Vajrasattva has this beautiful, radiant face, youthful yet ageless. His eyes are long, they're horizontally they're long, and they're shaped like lotus petals. And they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has no judgmental thoughts towards you. He just accepts you exactly as you are, happy, delighted. His mouth is sweet, red. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. He has this 5-pointed crown on his head, embedded with jewels. He's wearing jewelry on his ears, around his neck and waist and wrists and arms, ankles, maybe on his toes. And his body he's dressed in these beautiful celestial silken robes in the Royal Indian style. And they're just kind of floating in the wind. And he has an aura of light around his head and his body. So just imagine this is all light, like a hologram, above the crown of your head. Try and get a sense of this holy being there. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, it's just a little section here, we need to rely on other beings. So think of somebody that you've harmed and try and develop in your mind a sense of compassion for them, a wish for them to be free from suffering. And then also for those people who've harmed you, although maybe a little bit more difficult. We just think that perhaps they too could be free from suffering. You don't wish on them any harm, because it will come to them. The harm they've caused you will just rebound. So we make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So here we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva, imagine, very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, very forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jira mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Excuse me. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So next is a purification of speech, and again think Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. And this kind of overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. So, well, first of all, just imagine all the gossip, the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. This is just kind of general complaining that we sometimes do. So just imagine that all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you and overflowing. It is overflowing quite forcefully. It's not just kind of dribbling over the top of the head, for example. It's kind of like Rinpoche would say, enough force that a wind would blow the hat off your head. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Supokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Mibowa, Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anurakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sutam Shriyam Guruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dino Patita, Dudu Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anurakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sutam Shriyam Guruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dudu Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anurakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sutam Shriyam Guruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. And now really try and feel that your speech has been completely purified and you're really happy about it. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So that equally means whatever it is you write, whatever it is you text. And just imagine that you know exactly when to speak, exactly when to keep your mouth shut. And this is wisdom. When you're thinking, I want to benefit others with my speech, slowly, slowly the wisdom will come. So next is purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and switch on the light. That light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's the same here. The moment from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra. Excuse me, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression, your delusions, basically your attachment and grasping and neediness and bitterness and grudges and jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled by this light and this mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sutam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sutam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sutam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dudu Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anurakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of your suffering. All our delusions are our cause of our suffering, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. It's where it starts, in the mind. Imagine it's all purified, finished, and now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion and brilliance. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So you can imagine that Vajrasattva sends now light and nectar. And if you wish, you can, as we're imagining this, you can do a couple of mantras each for the visualizations of the body, the speech and the mind that we've just done. Or, just as we're reciting the mantra, just imagine light and nectar pouring in, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mempiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti Mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sudam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sudam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya Sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sutam shriyam guruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe So now feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So next just we come to the power of resolve. And this is a really crucial step in the purification process. So there's a decision we make to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So whatever you've been working on lately, make a decision. Okay, so I'm going to just think about, for maybe just 5 seconds between now and tomorrow, so whatever it is you can manage, whether it's 5 seconds or a minute or an hour, not talking about so-and-so from next door, or I'm going to refrain from biting my fingernails, or whatever it is you do, eating too much cake or chocolate, or I'm going to have one piece of chocolate, not the whole bar. So whatever it is you're doing that's harmful to yourself and maybe to others, just make a decision. I'm going to slowly, humbly, quietly start working on it. And gradually over time, you'll notice there's been a change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And Lama Yeshe called that union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a moment. And we can also think of all phenomena as being empty, and they do not exist from their own side. And perhaps think that the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And we have some long life prayers here. For His Holiness, thank you. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Ho Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Gyalaway Tenzin Kyang Pelaway Kunzo Dog Porze Chog Sum Kuraway Leg Mondu Drub Padag Sog Dulaje Gondu Jab Ten Shok. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you, Helen, for joining us. And do take care, and I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow morning. In fact, thank you, all of you, for joining us. Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Sweet dreams.
Good night, all.
Good night. Thanks for hosting. Thank you for hosting, Lou. All right. Bye-bye.